Today we are looking at emotional trauma. What is emotional trauma? According to the American Psychological Association, trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, natural disaster, or loss of a loved one. However, a person may experience trauma as a response to any event they find physically or emotionally threatening or harmful. A traumatized person can feel a range of emotions both immediately after the event and in the long term. They may feel overwhelmed, helpless, shocked, or have difficulty processing their experiences. Trauma can also cause physical symptoms. Trauma can have long-term effects on the person's well-being. There are 3 types of trauma. We have the acute trauma. This results from a single stressful or dangerous event. We have a chronic trauma. This results from repeated and prolonged exposure to highly stressful events. Examples include cases of child abuse, bullying, and domestic violence. Complex trauma. This results from exposure to multiple traumatic experiences. What are the symptoms of trauma? The symptoms of trauma could range from mild to severe. Many factors determine how a traumatic event affects a person, including their characteristics, the presence of other health conditions, exposure to traumatic events, the type and characteristics of the event, their background and approach to handling emotions. Emotional and psychological responses to trauma. A person who has experienced trauma may feel or be in denial, anger, fear, sadness, shame, confusion, anxiety, depression, numbness, guilt, hopelessness, irritability, difficulty concentrating. They may have emotional outbursts and find it difficult to cope with how they feel or withdraw from others. Flashbacks where a person relives the traumatic event in their mind are common as nightmares. Emotional trauma can also show itself in terms of physical responses. So trauma can cause physical symptoms such as headaches, digestive symptoms, fatigue, racing heart, sweating, feeling jumpy. Some research estimates that 60 to 75% of people in North America experience a traumatic event at some point. And what could be the potential causes of trauma? Let's look at them. We have bullying, harassment, physical, psychological, or sexual abuse, sexual assault, traffic collision, childbirth, life-threatening illness, sudden loss of a loved one, being attacked, being kidnapped, acts of terrorism, natural disasters, and war. People have different reactions to traumatic events. For example, people who live through the same natural disaster can respond differently despite the same event happening. So, this psychological trauma can show itself as nightmares or flashbacks, can leave the person feeling hopeless, could show itself as decreased concentration, insomnia, where you struggle to sleep, numbing effect, loss of interest, irritability, depression, dissociation, hypervigilance, little or no memory, self-destructive habits, substance abuse, eating disorder, chronic pain and headaches, emotional overwhelm, panic attacks, shame and self-hatred, startle response, intrusive memories, and so on and so forth. So if you are passing through emotional trauma, you require healing. You require to come up with a coping mechanism. You need to see your therapist. Go for therapy. Surround yourself with supportive people that can help you. And try to take it a day at a time. If it involves the loss of a loved one, take some time to be by yourself. Grieve. Grieving is good. You grieve. You pour out your heart. If possible, you cry. You try to relieve the emotion. And over time, you come to terms to it, I'll be able to find and make peace with yourself. But after doing all these things that you are not able to overcome it, go in for therapy. If you like our videos, kindly subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you get our videos as they drop.